Hello everyone, the Flying Canary here, fresh off another delayed flight, 3 airport coffees and a debate about whether emotional baggage should count towards your hand luggage. It's midweek in the championship, which means only one thing: chaos under the floodlights, rain that falls sideways, and at least one away fan wondering if they've boarded the wrong train to somewhere called Barnsley. The weather, windy, dramatic and full of false hope. In other words, perfect conditions for a Championship Tuesday. And before we dive in, a quick word on VAR, or as we call it down here, imaginary technology for imaginary problems. The good news, we don't have it. The bad news, we still have referees with Wi-Fi weaker than a service station Costa. Right, strap in. Let's forecast your midweek madness. Let's start with the Tuesday night fixtures. Blackburn Rovers versus Sheffield United. Ewood Park, home of pies, pride and misplaced optimism. Blackburn have been as unpredictable as a YouTube algorithm. 1 minute pure poetry, the next pure panic. Sheffield United, meanwhile, have rediscovered that ancient tactic called actually defending corners. Expect a physical match. This one's brought to you by our fictional sponsor, Northern Grit, now available in 90-minute doses. The Blades will look to grind, the Rovers will look to glide. And somewhere in the middle, we'll get a goal-mouth scramble that'll make 10 grown adults shout offside without the faintest idea why. Prediction: the energy says a 1-1. Both teams bruised, both claim they deserve more, and both managers quietly Googling how to finish chances. Let's move on to Derby County versus Norwich City. Pride Park, where optimism meets aeroplanes full of canaries. Derby have been industrious and organised, and Pride Park at night can feel like playing inside a drum. Norwich arrive in decent away form, but as always we'll leave the scoreline to the separate Outlook show. My blood pressure can't handle it twice a week. Let's just say this has banana skin in progress written all over it. Matchday sponsors Ryanair, bringing you hope, turbulence and occasional football punditry. Expect an early goal, a few dubious fouls, and at least one canary scarf caught in the wind somewhere near the away end. That's moving to Hull City versus Leicester City, the MKM Stadium, where the Tigers' roar sometimes sounds like a polite cough these days. Leicester travel well, they pass like mathematicians, and they score like they're allergic to 0-0 draws. Hull are proud, fierce, and occasionally forget they're not in League One anymore. I'll call this one a Fox's masterclass with a local twist. Leicester by 2-1 through Hull's late pressure could have turned this into a thriller. Tonight's match brought to you by East Yorkshire Sunshine, available exclusively in July. Ipswich Town versus Charlton Athletic. Portman Road, tractors, tea and tactical mayhem. Ipswich have been turning away days into highlight reels, while Charlton are the sort of side who'll nick a goal when you least expect it. This one feels like a crowd pleaser, 3-1 to the Tractor Boys, with at least one set paced straight from the training ground and one local pub blackboard. Referee for the night, Mr. E. Guesswell, not his real name, but certainly his reputation. Moving on to Millwall versus Stoke, the Den, Millwall under lights. It's like a cage match with pies. The Potters arrive with muscle and midfield menace, but this is the sort of night where a misplaced back pass can spark a minor earthquake. Expect a lot of shouting, a lot of elbows, and exactly one piece of actual football that might make you go, hang on, that was lovely. My money, 1-0 Millwall, scrappy, loud, and sponsored by Industrial Strength Deep Heat for when diplomacy fails. Moving on to Portsmouth versus Coventry City. Fratton Park, where the noise never stops and the floodlights hum like a plane about to take off. Coventry have been slick, composed and quietly efficient. Portsmouth, passionate, proud and probably a little tired from singing since breakfast. This has classic championship draw written all over it. 2-1 either way feels possible, but I'll split the difference 2-2. Expect drama, deflections and a late equaliser that'll have the Fratton end bouncing like a trampoline convention. Preston North End then versus Birmingham City. Deepdale, where football feels properly old school, Preston have been solid throughout, scoring fewer than a librarian on Valentine's Day. Birmingham, busy, brave, occasionally brilliant and occasionally baffling. This one sponsored by Midlands Motorway Services, serving despair since 1983. A tighten it all until someone sneezes, the ball rolls into the net. Prediction: 1-0 Preston, and the post-match interview featuring at least 3 mentions of character. Bristol City and Southampton. Ashton Gates under the lights, and that's always a lovely sight. Red seats, red shirts, and red cards waiting to happen. Southampton love possession, Bristol love chaos, and somewhere in between lies entertainment. Expect pressing triangles, frustrated forwards, and one goal that'll make the highlight reels purely because someone slipped on the advertising board. Prediction: Saints by 2-1, one neat finish, one deflection, one big sigh. Let's move on to Wednesday night's fixtures, starting with Swansea City versus Queen's Park Rangers. Swansea.com stadium still sounds like a broadband provider, but at least the football's faster than most Wi-Fi. The Swans are improving, QPR are stubborn, scrappy, and allergic to predictability. Expect a game of 2 halves, 3 arguments, and 1 moment of beauty, spoiled by a flag. Forecast 1-1, and at least 1 local seagull interrupting play. Tonight's fictional sponsor, Welsh Weather Windows, guaranteed to leak during extra time. Moving on then to Watford versus West Bromwich Albion. Vicarage Road, the home of managerial musical chairs and eternally optimistic fans. West Brom have been tidy but toothless. Watford remain one of football's great soap operas. If they concede early, the crowd groans in stereo. If they score early, the crowd groans anyway, just in case. Prediction: 2-1 Watford, a scrappy, scruffy, slightly ridiculous win. Perfect midweek content. Now, Wrexham versus Oxford United. Racecourse ground where Hollywood meets half-cleared headers. The Wrexham story continues, but Oxford are too clever to be anyone's supporting cast. This will be open, attacking, and about as organised as a Ryanair boarding queue. Prediction: 2-2, sponsored by Unexpected Drama Productions Limited. Expect a late goal, a Netflix camera zoom, and a manager interview that'll trend on TikTok for all the wrong reasons. Sheffield Wednesday then versus Middlesbrough. Hillsborough, proud, passionate, and under pressure. Middlesbrough are climbing the table. Wednesday are trying to remember what winning feels like. Crowd will be electric, the football frantic, and the mood somewhere between hopeful and hysterical. Prediction: Borough by 2-0, calm, clinical, and probably featuring a header from a man whose name half the stadium can't spell. Matchday sponsor Yorkshire Tea for emotional support since 1886. So now the forecast. Across the country, Tuesday and Wednesday will bring the usual cocktail: drizzle in the north, tension in the Midlands, and a full storm warning for social media. Expect scattered showers of overreaction and a heavy chance of "here we go again" posts by Thursday morning. If you're travelling, pack a coat, a sense of humour, and something that passes for optimism, because the Championship doesn't do comfort, it does character building. This week in football history, on the 21st of October 1992, the Premier League saw the first ever red card for a goalkeeper. A moment that taught us all one thing: never slide tackle with your hands. And on the 27th of October 1977, Pelé played his farewell match for the New York Cosmos, swapping shirts mid-game and proving once again that even legends get sentimental. Closer to home, the 21st of October 2000, David Nugent scored for the fastest goal in Preston's history, which is still their favourite fun fact in pubs from here to Blackpool. Moral of the story: football changes, but nostalgia never misses a pass. And how about a bit of appreciation for referees? Let's pause to thank the real heroes, the refs. They run more miles than midfielders, get more criticism than Wi-Fi routers, and still manage to smile when 20,000 people call them things unrepeatable on daytime radio. So here to you, ref, still blind, still brave, still somehow in charge of the chaos we love. And if you're listening, maybe check your watch battery before kickoff, yeah? And Mascot Madness, midweek edition. The Portsmouth mascot, Nelson the dog, once chased a stray ball for 60 yards before realising it wasn't part of the entertainment. At the same time, Millwall's Zampa the lion tried to start a Mexican wave in the wrong direction. Proof, if any were needed, that mascots understand this league better than most managers. Chaos, commitment, and costume-based cardio. And the Flying Canary travel tips for this episode: if you're on the road midweek, don't trust the train timetables. They're more of a suggestion than a service. Always have a plan B a power bank, and a packet of crisps, sturdy enough to survive a signal failure. And if your flight's delayed, don't panic. That's just Ryanair's version of extra time. So there you have it. 10 matches, 2 nights, and about 400 moments that'll make us question our life choice. No VAR, no sense, but pure championship energy. Unpredictable, unfiltered, and slightly unhinged. If you've enjoyed this O'Grady forecast, give it a like and a share and subscribe, because hope might not be a strategy, but it is the algorithm. And if your club wants its own 4-minute O'Grady outlook, personal, passionate, and occasionally prophetic, you know where to find me. Travel safe, sing loud, and remember, hope isn't a strategy, but it's brilliant content. Flying Canary, out.